Okay, we now have a time of officially 7:06. I now call to order the May 14th meeting of the Hurley Zoning Board of Appeals. Do I have a motion to open the meeting? Motion made by Alex, seconded by Kara. All in favor, verbal aye or show of hands. All board members present in favor, none opposed. Let the record show that all board members except for Warren Shands are present. Warren is absent. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This time is when we typically have a public comment period. And normally we don't have many public comments, but I'm informed that we do have a public comment section this evening.
Yes, we do.
I am Greg, Chair of the Planning Board. So Greg, step right up.
All right.
Well, I guess I have to motion to open the public comment section.
Sure.
Yeah. I would like to make a motion to open the public comment section of the meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Alex. All in favor, verbal aye or show of hands. All present in favor and opposed. Greg, you have the floor.
All right. Greg Central. As indicated, I am the chair of the planning board, but I also have been charged with the project managing of the zoning code update that's been working its way through the town. And what I wanted to share with you is a few changes that are going to be made to our zoning code that is specific to the Zoning Board of Appeals. The three changes that are being made are first, while there are 7 members, there are currently 5-year terms. So state law, that's a mismatch. And we have been attempting to correct it over the past 5 years or so. And now we actually have those changes in, and they're slated to go into a local law that should pass end of August. So we're going to make a change where your terms will, when your 5-year term is up, it will reset to 7 years. So the only other way the town board has an opportunity is if they want to temporarily dissolve the ZBA and then immediately recreate the ZBA with staggered terms, 7-year terms immediately. So that's up to the town board to decide, but I suspect it'll just be letting your current 5-year term expire and then move to 7-year terms. Make sense? Any questions? Great. Second thing, we're going to give the town board an opportunity to optionally create alternate members of the ZBA. So the planning board has alternate members. Those are mandatory. We opted to create an optional alternate, depending on the circumstances, people not being able to make it for extended periods of time, things like that that may occur in the future and have occurred in the past. So that's an opportunity. And then the last thing is throughout our code, the Zoning Board of Appeals is often referred to as the Board of Appeals. So we're going to normalize it to just Zoning Board of Appeals so that we're not referring to the same entity with 2 different names. That's it.
That's it.
So what happens at the end of the 5-year term?
So at the 5-year term, you of course would, your name would come before the board if you wanted to serve again. And the board would appoint you to a new 7-year term.
Would the optional alternate members, would that be for, say, somebody who has, you know, an illness and can't be here for, say, 4 or 5 months? Or would that be a spot sort of thing of, say, somebody is not here for the month of June, the June meeting, and we figure out that we don't have a quorum that night, would that person be able to jump in just for that night?
So the alternate would work the same way that alternates to the planning board work, is that they would in fact be a member of the ZBA.
Uh-huh.
They would attend meetings, but they're non-voting. So
Okay.
that way they could be, aware of,
Speed of everything.
yeah. And then if someone wasn't here, at the chair's discretion, they can make an alternate, a voting member of a particular meeting.
Okay,
Make sense?
yeah,
All right.
great,
Any
thank
other
you.
questions?
Too much sense.
All right.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Are any other members of the public here this evening that wish to make the public comment? To clarify, we do have 3 public hearings this evening for various applications. So during that time frame, public commentary can be made for those specific applications. This is more for a generalized public comment. Going once? Going twice? All right, I would like to make the motion that we close the public comment section of the meeting, seconded by Kara. All in favor, verbal aye or show of hands. All board members present in favor of closing the public comment section of the meeting. We shall move on to our first order of business. Item number 1 is the application for 160 Jeffrey Lane. Everybody but listen, you were on a prior meeting, correct?
This is that butterfly.
A weird butterfly property that had been previously 2 building lots, and upon
Right.
sale of the property going back several years ago was conjoined back into a single lot, or well, made one single lot as opposed to the original 2.
Yes, I remember.
Yep, we've got it up. And so a agent of the applicant is here before us this evening, and the request essentially is to, welcome, property owners here as well. So the request is to turn it back into the original designated sized lots. And I believe the request was to keep it exactly how it was originally, right? To keep the same property markers and everything like that, which makes best sense, in my opinion.
Just
So-
restore to the original property lines of 2 lots, yeah.
All right. So I will make a motion to open the public hearing on this matter. Seconded by Alex. All in favor, verbal aye or show of hands. All board members present in favor, none opposed. Okay. The applicants and agent of the applicant, you're welcome to have the floor again, explain, reiterate what your plan is. Obviously, you explained to us at the prior meeting, but you have the chance to speak.
Is there anything that I couldn't have said?
If you'd like to, yes, of course.
Yeah, as I just said, the request is actually to just, restore the original property lines as if that, joining had not occurred.
Certainly. And Jerry did pose a question. He was concerned that the parcel with the house that is currently on it wouldn't have anything moving forward. As everything sits currently, it's grandfathered in. However, should any future development happen, he would still be held to the same kind of setbacks for the code and everything. So with the shape of the property, I can't imagine if you expanded, you wouldn't have to come for a variance anyway, just because of the shape of the parcel, but just wanted to reiterate that
Right.
to you.
So the existing larger lot with the existing house, if in fact tonight is approved, is there anything else that would need to be done in reference to her house, making sure that that was good to go?
I do not believe so. Maybe the attorney can back me up on that, but I can't imagine, I mean, if nothing is changing.
Nothing's changed.
The question is that once you guys, are able to get the lot line revision to create the 2 parcels, whether she will have to do anything additional with her property.
Well, or to come with variances or, I believe, but all
Well,
second
if
round.
there's additional work or anything, there may be area variances or.
Well, that's what I said, yeah, if you did an addition, a deck, any kind of expansion to the existing, then it'd still be held to the existing.
But if nothing was done,
Absolutely nothing happens.
she decided a year from now she wants to sell her house, there would be any hiccups or issues. You can sell our house, no caveats that people would need to be aware of.
Sorry, are you the owner of the
Yes,
house?
I am.
Okay, and your name, please?
Ruth Kent.
Okay.
You would make, the existing lot would be conforming or non-conforming after that from a acreage.
The one that the house currently sits on, it would still be in that pre-existing non-conforming lot.
But it's not existing as non-conforming, right? Because it's a larger lot now. It would become a
A
non-conforming lot.
non-conforming.
So would it also then need a variance for the existing house because it's becoming non-conforming through the lot line revision?
Well, that's what this variance is, to allow for it to exist non-conform.
Both parcels.
So if both parcels are going to be under the, and what is it right now? It's, our code has it as half acres. I believe it's half. Is it not? I think it's listed currently as half acre, but the revisions that are gonna be passed, these would actually become conforming. I think, isn't it then?
No, we don't change any of the density control schedule.
Then
What, the lot with the house on it, the original size for that lot would be 0.482 acres. Is that,
yeah, but
and the other one would be
the way the new code or the proposed changes have to do with square feet, 40,000 square feet, right? What does that convert to when it comes to under the code as written? Is it a half acre that it says?
So what zone are we in?
R1.
Well,
R2.
regardless, that the property is to be, if it's split from the existing house and it goes up for sale, it's not like they would have to come before us for a variance for the pre-existing structure that already
No.
exists.
No,
Otherwise,
that's
we
what
would sitting here
variance
constantly
is
dealing with
for.
house sales.
But there are, you're doing, so both properties are now going to be undersized. Not, because I know there was some discussion last month about doing, one of them was gonna be, say,
correct,
0.45 of an acre and the other was gonna remain at the 0.5.
correct. One would be 0.468, one would be 0.482.
All right, so technically there's going to be one variance granted for each living parcels.
Correct.
So those should both each be specified specifically what. Yes.
Would the new parcel be buildable at all?
Now, without variances. Because it's now, there's nothing there, nothing is grandfathered in, so essentially, if somebody wanted to do something in the parcel, they'd have to come to us. And unless you're adhering to all the setbacks.
Right. So the building envelope on the new lot would only be about this big.
Why we exist. True.
Is there any, is there any legal reason that this is not possible? Or is this under our code and under the zoning, this is possible to,
Well, it doesn't conform with the code as written, that's why they're getting it there.
right?
Do we have any, correspondence from anybody, neighbors regarding this? Board have any further questions for the applicants? Any members of the public this evening have anything to address the board about or commentary on this specific application while public hearing is still open?
I have a question. Say the lot line, they split the lot lines and somebody wants to build on the vacant parcel. What's the procedure? Do they go to us first for variances and then to the planning board? Or do they go to the planning board first? What's the order?
If the variance is being granted on the parcel as is, it depends on what they're building. They
What
may
they're
or may not need
Yeah.
an additional
So they
variance.
would go back permanent.
Yeah, well,
The
I
building,
think the next step would be that they have to go to the planning board for a subdivision.
Yeah.
To make it official.
A lot line
Our board first says, okay, we'll grant you this variance to allow for these two
for the lot line.
now non-conforming lots that were originally non-conforming lots that were then made together as one and reverting back to what it originally was. Then they go to the planning board for subdivision. Once that's, and all that's, just wash their hands of that, then there has to be some kind of formal plan for what would happen with the vacant parcel,
so then the
should that come to be. But I don't think it's-
new lot would then go to the building inspector. apply
The
for
building
permit,
inspector, yep, would say,
They would
okay, you're
say
trying to
no.
building on a non-conforming, undersized lot.
And then that.
And these are depending on what the site plan states and what is planned for the property. These are the variances you may or may not need before you go to the planning board once again. I don't think it makes any sense for this board to get ahead of itself and
Yeah, no, no.
start theoretically planning out things. We'll just focus on the lot line adjustment for the time being. So obviously we have no correspondence. The applicant has stated his intentions. My thought would be to close the public hearing on this matter and then we discuss amongst ourselves and review the criteria for granting the variance. Any discussion on thoughts in my head at the moment? No. All right, then I will make a motion to close the public hearing on this application, seconded by Liston. Purple. All present in favor, show of hands are verbal aye. All board members present in favor of closing the public hearing on this matter. All right, my thoughts, knowing the neighborhood, the majority of these parcels are all pre-existing non-conforming. Obviously, this parcel was previously split up as such, and nothing has been done with it.
And there's some hookups for two separate parcels as well, right?
Yeah, it was built out as such to be two different existing parcels. The water hookups are as such. I can't imagine there's not even that's all underground electric on that road as well. So I can't imagine there's not a pedestal sitting there as well for electric hookup. If the vacant parcel is to be developed. So reading through criteria, if the board wants to just basically jump right into that, unless there's any additional thoughts that any board members have, I would say we just read through the criteria and discuss whether or not there's any issues with that for granting this variance. So, A, will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties be created by the granting of this area variance? Thoughts is, I would not. It's the original layout of the neighborhood. It kind of was planned to be a lot on its own. So, would everybody agree that there is no undesirable change?
I agree.
Agreed. B, will the benefit sought by the applicant be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than a variance? I don't think there's any way you could split these up without getting the variance for splitting the two parcels into two undersized lots. Could everybody agree with that as well?
Agree.
C, will the requested area variance be substantial? I believe reverting it back to the original intended property lines that existed prior, using the exact same property markers and stakes. So substantialness by that.
Sorry.
Everybody agree with that as well on board?
Yep.
D, will the proposed variance have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions?
No.
I can't imagine that would be the case this year. Well, no environmental impacts is my fault. So I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
E is the alleged difficulty self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the Board of Appeals, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. Not self-created because they're just looking to revert back to the original property lines of the two lots that were intended to be two different lots. And to achieve that, they have no other option. Everybody agree with that as well?
May I say, just to clarify, I was not the person who asked to have the two lots joined.
You
so I'm
purchased
not
the property as such, correct? Jerry had named some of it. Being said,
Let's make sure you have specified what exactly the variance is for each of the parcels.
well, would that be part of a motion?
Yeah, so that's what I mean, as you're making a motion, you want to make sure that you reflect it. So.
I'm gonna make a motion for somebody else to make the motion.
You got the lawyer sitting next to you.
I would like to propose a motion to grant the area variance to allow the two lots to be split into two undersized parcels as they previously existed, utilizing the same property lines as existed before.
I propose the second.
Is that lawyer is?
But we want to specify, so in this particular, this is an R2 with central water.
Correct.
So it's a 25,000 square foot is the minimum area for the lot requirement.
Sounds good.
All right, and there's no issues with the minimum width is more than 120 feet.
Well, I can.
Isn't there a determination from a code enforcement officer specifying what the variance needed is?
Be under referral.
Yeah,
Okay.
it should be under a referral.
This was right when we were doing this.
This is, yeah.
It might be referral. Or maybe referral, I'm not sure.
So, thanks.
Could be. I don't see a reference to the width. President's motion of making two undersized lots on carry the weight of. And it's in the exact.
But there's no, where's the determination that says that they need the variance for this?
March 20th letter does not refer to
That
that.
seems like with that is where.
What is
the
March 20th letter reference?
I think it was such a checklist you
Can I bring it up?
correct or something like that.
Should we bring it up?
Yes. Yeah, so he's
It doesn't say anything
specifying,
about the width.
no, but he is specifying, yeah, I'm just making sure, so 25,000 square feet.
Yeah,
So
that was based on the original plan, you know, after here and then.
all right, so the two.
one will be 0.68.
And 24 to 2. If I'm looking at that.
I had,
Four,
to get
six,
a
eight.
Yes.
Make it 20,000.
Say that again?
20,386.08 square feet. That is in. There, it's gonna be. And what's the other point?
0.482.
Would be 20,995.92 square.
To clarify, that is lot 12. First one was lot 10. Mhm. Lot 10 would be the vacant lot.
So for lot 10, area variance of 1,600. 13.92 square feet.
Again,
4,004.08. That's lot 12.
Deviance from the 5,000.
Yes, so an area variance.
Eric, you ready
Right, no, wait.
on this motion? So, Secretary, well, you got it. I amend my motion.
proposed.
And can you add in that it's following the pre-existing?
Yeah, you can specify it in that, but
Attorney, is there anyone for numbers?
specifically
Oh, yeah.
what matters is what variance you're actually granting to use these.
All right, so my motion now stands as granting the area variance to allow the two lots to be divided into two undersized lots and granting a variance of,
And then the lot requirements for lot 10.
lot 10 to be
4,613.92 square feet.
and allowing lot 12 to be
Variance of an area variance of 4,004.08 square feet.
back.
And each one.
Reverting back to their original lot line size. Did everybody catch that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it's just for clarification, each one now referred to as non-conforming.
Yeah,
Your size of
Undersized,
undersized, with a variance of those specific deviations from 25,000 square feet.
but the lots. You can allow that building can be done on the lot as long as its other lots conform to the code.
In other words, it's
It's that next.
Is there a second?
One thing that I do.
Only if you repeat it again.
Verbatim, please.
I second the motion.
From memory.
There is a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion amongst the board or the attorney regarding the motion on the floor? Or does anybody have any? Does anybody need any clarification?
No.
For the board? Okay, so having reviewed the criteria for granting the area variance, consulting with the attorney about the specifics of the numbers of the deviation from the lot sizes. There is a motion and a second. All board members present in favor, verbal aye or show of hands.
Aye.
All board members present are in favor, none opposed. We need to call for any other votes. Congratulations, your variance has been granted. And,
So the next step was back to the planning board,
yes, now that
their blessing on it. Lot line revisions.
chair is here tonight, you've heard everything.
Walk you through.
Carrie, I'll write up a determination, with the
Yep.
building permit. And then, I don't know, if it's county board, but we'll figure it out.
And you're gonna let me know whatever you're.
Yep.
Matt, had that letter now?
We have it, it's in the.
Yeah, it's on the drive.
It's on the desk.
So for clarification on my end, if the planning board,
There's no legal impediment under the code right now for the lot line revision.
okay, very good. And
I think you've still got lots to move.
if the vacant lot, if anything wants to be done on that, as long as it meets the setback
There should be no reason for other
variances.
variances. The one thing you definitely want to read the code. I know our code has something unique that I haven't seen in other codes. Where undersized lots only allow for single family residences to be built on it. So we're aware of that. Okay. So
Great.
That's
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. All right, we'll now move on to our second item on the agenda this evening. This is for area variance at 12 Clover Street in West Hurley. The applicant is seeking a variance related to the construction of a deck on their existing single-family home in an R2 district. This property, once again, is a pre-existing undersized lot without municipal water or sewer, and is subject to the B1 setback requirements. Proposed deck does not meet the required rear yard setback, and the applicant is therefore requesting a 26-foot area variance. Y'all are here for that application, correct? Excellent. I know that we reviewed this prior. And this deck is to be, I believe there is like a kind of aerial view down, correct? Yep.
Right, that was it. Right-hand side behind the garage and family room, basically get a complete square.
Gotcha. So the board has reviewed the application, sent the public hearing. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing on this matter. Do I have a second? Seconded by Alex. All board members present, verbal aye or show of hands. All board members present are in favor, none opposed. You as the applicants once again have the floor, just to reiterate anything you want to tell us.
We would like to complete that corner to allow for us to have access to it from our kitchen and sunroom. So the, building person said might need a, variance because the way our fence in the back is actually closer to the house than my property is. But when you measure it from the end of the house to where we need to be, it gives the appearance. It's really only 6 feet of distance that we are short. That's it.
And essentially the parts of the structure that are currently in place and existing, would they be built right now today without existing there, probably need variance as well.
Correct.
Because they are an existing.
Pre-existing, exactly.
Did we have any correspondence from anybody regarding this? Is there anybody else in the audience this evening? That has any? It's the audience now, not the members
I
of
don't
the.
know enough about these applications.
Our audience of applicants.
I like to think of us as a kind of show here.
No one wants to watch.
Monthly Thursday.
Um,
We guys do have fake applause, play those every once in a while.
Don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Any members of the board have any questions for the applicant? It seems relatively straightforward to me. Essentially, you know, what it looks like to me, the structure exists and it's already there and all they're doing is kind of
Connecting.
clearing off the footprint and it's not even.
It's not even gonna be seen from the
Additional,
road because
yeah.
it's behind the garage.
You could put patio stones out there and you would think that you're just kind of making it a little better for yourself.
We used to make it easier for ourselves because we're getting older in life and it's easier to just walk flat common surface, get it up and down steps all the time.
I'm starting to learn that when I wake up every single.
It's, I'll tell you what, when you have to when it comes to reality and you don't have a choice, you have to face it, it sucks. You know? I'm learning the hard way.
Well, if there's no questions from the board,
Can we go with the criteria?
I'm going to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
I will second that motion. All in favor? Verbal aye, show of hands. All board members present are in favor of closing the public hearing on this matter. Discussion about this. Should we just jump into the criteria and we'll discuss
I
along the
like
way?
when things are square. Makes me happy.
Yeah, with the angle of your work and your household. Okay, considerations for granting the area variance. Will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties be created by the granting of this area variance? You're squaring off the deck in the back.
No.
B, will the benefit sought by the applicant be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the variance? I think to achieve a livable, usable deck and keep within the confines and the visual niceties of the household. They're just asking for a simple extension of the deck. Property. Everybody agree with that? Yep. C,
And also the actual impact is, and the house is already outside of the setback, so the actual impact is.
feasibility. Quiet in the audience. Quiet on the set. Thank you, Greg. Will the requested area variance be substantial? Not by any means. They're, once again, just keeping within the confines of the already existing house, try and keep their usable area as neat and tidy as possible. Will the proposed variance have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district? No, not at all. But I do always like to say after our last application, perhaps my son might be disturbed. But you won't get it. E, is the alleged difficulty self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the Board of Appeals, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. To basically make a usable living deck off of the existing house, which is already not within the confines of the zoning setbacks. They have no other choice but to do it. And approach us for a variance. Would everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Ed? Is the variance the minimum necessary? Once again, they're just keeping within the confines of keeping clean lines off the side of the pre-existing structure. So in my opinion, it's not, it is the minimum necessary.
Yes.
Everybody agree with that?
Yes.
And G, should we choose to grant this variance, do we want to impose any restrictions or conditions?
No.
And that I can think of either. So with that all being reviewed, I would like to make a motion to grant the area variance as stated. Is that- Seconded by Alex. There is a motion on the floor. Any discussion amongst the board? Clarifications about it?
Yeah, 26.
26 feet. Oh, I'm trying to-
Let's let these fine citizens perform.
So all those in favor of granting the variance on this application, verbal aye or show of hand? All board members present are in favor, none opposed. Congratulations.
Thanks for being with us. I'll be back next month just for comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys definitely have fun. It's nice.
We have to.
I guess we wouldn't be sitting here.
We have 7-year terms.
Yeah.
7-year terms, that's a long time.
Not bad.
Horrible.
Sentences.
Those that are lighter than this.
Twice.
I'll be hitting my 10 years soon.
I would
God.
a letter, like, speaks that.
It's like 20% of
Be aware of everything.
Yeah. I'll sign it. I didn't want to say. Yeah, we're all good.
And I was happy like 2 years or something, and then like, John Larry secretary, she's like, oh, we're appointing for another 5 years. Like, 5 years?
Oregon was the first
No.
7-year member, right?
Yeah, it all. We had so many gaps and then like, probably a couple people on at the same time.
Seven full members.
Well, so there was a discussion, when John Perry was in office, he said, can we cut it, you want to cut it to 5, let's come on.
Well, the norm is
So
five.
we were
minutes.
grandfathered in to 7.
Is there anything specific?
No, I wrote somebody at the New York Planning Federation.
I mean, that's
asked,
just
well,
showing what we're gonna be building on, right?
We're grandfathered to 7, and then you got 7, and it's working.
To me, if we could just
The only
approve it.
advantage to limit
There's nobody here to fight me. I got text from the neighbor says, I got a text from the neighbor saying he doesn't affect him. I joined over.
I don't think there's
7. Not 7.
I don't think they have the details. Let's move on to our third item, not keep this gentleman waiting.
I say we just approve it. There's nobody here to, give us any. Just good to go.
We have to open it up to the public.
Oh, you open it public and close it quick, right?
We have to, this is probably the most minimum variance that we have at all.
And this is the biggest BS.
Item number 3, area variance at 42 Holland Drive, West Curly. Applicant is seeking area variance related to the construction of a 3-season room and deck on an existing family dwelling located in the R1 district.
Yes.
The construction does not meet the required rear yard setback of 40 feet, with the structure proposed at 34 feet from the property line. So henceforth, the applicant shall seek a 6-foot variance. I would like to make a motion to open the public hearing on this. Seconded by Alex. All board members present in favor. All board members present in favor of opening the public hearing. None
Yeah, we're
opposed.
the only one in the public right now? Yeah.
Deb, how do you feel about this?
Well, first we hand it over to the applicant. Do you have anything further to discuss?
The only thing is, like you said, is I'm looking just to do a 3-season room. With a little deck off the edge there, open part of the deck. The house isn't even 50 feet off of the property line of 40 feet because we have the town water. So basically, just the deck.
Nice little sign. Did we have any correspondence from any neighbors or anybody? Any board members have any questions for the applicant? Mike, which 3 seasons is it technically? Summer, spring, and fall.
It could be winter, because you could always pop the windows and put a little outdoor heater. You could have 4 seasons.
Depending how your body temperatures runs, maybe you don't want to be there in the summertime, maybe you want to be there in the winter time.
That's,
I want to be there in the summertime, it's just it's so damp in the area, the bugs are crazy, so I have to enjoy sitting outside.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Or
Motion made to close by Karen.
Yeah.
I think it was Alex again. He's quick to draw, he will take that, so.
really, please jump on
So we
it.
go to read this. All board members present, are you in favor of closing the public hearing on this matter, verbal aye or show of hands? All board members present are in favor, none are opposed. Who wants to jump into the criteria, or do we have a discussion? Okay. Will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties be created by the granting on this area variance of 6 feet?
No.
No.
mosquitoes will be upset.
Taking away from the mosquitoes. Heard they were like an endangered species or something.
Yeah, they're being displaced. by-
From Leland's. Will the benefits sought by the applicant be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the variance? With the construction of the house and the way it is and where the sunroom can be located, I believe his only option is to seek the variance of 6 feet. Everybody agree with that?
Great.
Concur.
C, will the requested area variance be substantial?
No.
Again, we're talking about 6 feet on the end of the house. I don't see that as being a substantial variance by any means. Does everybody agree with that?
Great.
D, will the proposed variance have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood?
No.
Mosquitoes might be getting this one. I would say no. Everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Concur.
E is the alleged difficulty self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the Board of Appeals, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. If he's looking for the sunroom in a location that works with the construction and the layout of the household, aesthetic into the yard. Do anything else besides seek the variance. Everybody agree with that?
I agree.
Yeah.
F is the variance, the minimum necessary.
Seems to be.
To have a usable sunroom, three season. It would be the minimum. And G, do we want to impose any concessions or restrictions if we choose to grant areas?
Not to go beyond that.
Whatever works.
Well, having reviewed the considerations amongst us as board members and having opened and closed the public hearing and hearing all various concerns were brought up, I would like to make a motion to grant the area variance of 6 feet from the rear yard, was correct? Rear yard variance?
Yes,
So it's
side.
I think it says rear. It was rear yard setback.
Well,
See both first.
yeah, the deck's going off the back, but it's the side.
This is where I usually like to say as stated.
Yeah, the determination says.
References the house and the construction will be 34 feet from property line, setback is 40. I believe that's rear yard.
Yeah, it's the rear
Yeah,
yard.
it says rear 40, construction is. So it just says need 6 feet from the,
Yeah, it's saying it's rear yard setback.
this is why I say as stated, so it's the rear of the building.
As stated in the building,
Yeah. The 6 foot area variance as stated.
by the ZES determination.
Yes, yeah, there it is. That's my motion.
Second.
Well, we're gonna give that one call. Hey. How many are you gonna try?
Seriously, it's like Jeopardy or something.
Right, there is a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion amongst the board members or anybody need clarification on the motion?
Absolutely no discussion.
All right, so Everybody in favor of the motion, verbal aye or show of hands, all board members present and opposed. Tonight.
All right,
Congratulations.
thank you.
You'll receive a letter or something.
Yeah, but the building department will know us tomorrow.
So I can be there tomorrow morning to get my bill. Yeah, because I talked to Rich, he said once he gets stuff, I'll get it too quick.
As soon as he gets here, oh.
Because I'm all, like I said, I'm already 2 months behind schedule, because I didn't expect my friend that was supposed to help me before he got busy, and now he's busy.
Storm comes and everybody gets their nose in the.
Yeah, we were trying, like I said, is I never even thought about having to go through this, and,
A lot of times people don't, and then they don't realize that we draw it out for a couple months.
yeah.
Well, the mosquitoes aren't out yet.
You want to come over and check it out?
Not on Morgan Hill or not.
You're up high.
It's like the colder, I guess.
I lived on Morganville for a while, they were sometimes.
Yeah, as it gets later on, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good
Good
evening.
night.
Have a good evening. Did everybody have a chance to review the draft meetings of the April 9th meeting?
Yes,
I thought they were fantastic, except for one thing.
I'm sorry.
Folks, we don't have Coral Shannon.
I don't know why. I remember it's at us.
This is not plural, then? I said that I think that's fine because there really should only be
There
one
should
more
only
chair.
be
So
one
really-
Do you want to mention?
There is one.
We don't need plural.
Oh, yeah, I did want to, well, since we're on minutes, they're great, discover any errors, omissions, edits for the minutes as stated. Aside from the S on it and shit, which I don't even actually, it's funny at this point, I would just keep it going. All right,
Lie to it.
No, the key is let it keep going.
it's Shandy. Shandy. Shandy Orion.
I'm sending it to him.
All right, so I would like to make the motion to approve the April 9th minutes as stated with that single correction of change to Shandy Orion. Seconded by Kara. All members of the board, are you in favor of approving the minutes? Verbal show of hands, all board members present in favor, none opposed. Samara did remind me that 250 Spillway. I put it in an email that I was in touch with Lauren very shortly after our last meeting, and she stated she had a very important event to attend tonight. She has all means of submitting her financial disclosures to us, and the reasoning why she has financial hardships, which we did request of them at the end of the public hearing before we closed it. Did we receive anything now?
The only thing that I have is the Ulster County.
All right, so that was gonna be my secondary question. So she had kind of alluded that she wanted to push back to the June meeting so she could attend and be here for us to review them. Which I said, no problem, we can do that. We have 62 days. And I said, unless you want to give us an extension, just let me know how you want to proceed. I didn't hear anything back after that. Perhaps she just took my email correspondence as that's the direction that we're going to go. So being that they are not present here this evening, I don't think there's really a necessity to us make any type of decision on this because we don't have what requested of them. But we do now are in receipt of the Ulster County Planning Board's recommendations. So we can quickly look at that if you want to, as a board.
Yeah, can you make that a little bigger?
Or can we go to the top?
Is it?
Oh, that's it? Okay. That's short and sweet. Yeah, but is there the over or is that just, this is what it is, recommendations? Shall I read it?
Wording adaptive use. Yeah, they're getting.
I'm just gonna read it loud and clear.
Okay.
While the applicant in this case appears to have met the necessary criteria to obtain a use variance, wow. This is typically and rightfully a difficult procedure for an applicant to obtain approval. The UCPB supports this application and recommends that the town, as part of its comprehensive planning efforts and subsequent zoning updates, add language supporting adaptive reuse typically allowed via site plan review or a special permit for multifamily and mixed-use structures, rather than letting them continue to sit idle. Such language will make the process less arduous for applicants who, after obtaining a use variance, still need to proceed with the site plan review. The towns of Lloyd, Marlborough, Rochester, and Rosendale have all have versions of the adaptive reuse overlay districts that may be helpful to town, providing guidance for the comprehensive plan and updating their zoning districts. Interest.
Yeah, there aren't any overlay districts here. Are
There is one, I believe, on Route 28.
Yeah.
Is that our only overlay district? Maybe there's more, but I believe, and maybe some stuff off of 28A.
Wait, was it both district?
See,
So, yeah, that's it. Let the attorney will, I'll let the attorney.
Uses where we generally have our, business district of light industrial, we have different residential. Overlay allows, the addition of residential.
Yeah, so
aren't overlays just allowed, or it's a specific area that
to
might.
have, it's only
Yeah.
on uses and stuff, yeah,
little
that's the
strip on
only
28
places.
basically.
And it's because on 28, we like
We had-
non-stop had like commercial entities coming for use variances because it
That's
was
what it was
only
residential.
zoned residential.
Right.
And it's like literally you would drive up 28 and you go through Kingston, Town of Ulster,
Woodstock,
Town of
there's
Kingston, Woodstock,
strips of them
and
in
it's like
town, and they all
literally
have
commercial
commercial, and
everywhere
then
except for her. And so it was like a forced
Yeah, I come,
overlay.
I come down here from Vermont, and in Vermont, we have conservation overlays, recreation overlays, shoreline overlays. Have all these different subsections.
That Greg Tetrell put together.
Well, it hasn't been.
It hasn't approved yet, but that's coming.
Yeah. They're gonna expand it. So,
So this should go to,
and
Mike and Greg for sure, as part of our looking at updates to the code, to the local laws. This should go there. And Betsy Blair for the comprehensive plan, she's managing. the
Right.
The board recommended last time that they contact that reach out to the town board, to do just that. To the applicant.
I'm unsure of how, do we just default to that option? Or because this is on
No, I
our
think
plate
it's on
right
your plate.
now,
We gotta do it.
you guys should
move
address
forward.
it right now.
Yes.
but then immediately turn around and say, hey, because this, before she even started, we said, man, this is probably something that's gonna come up over and over and over, especially when we know there's these buildings that were sitting out there. They had big uses before that, and now it's like the housing is like a big thing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
to
also
make
businesses
three-
that all closed down, whatever.
That is the future right there. What that letter says, that's the future.
Well, that's what the county as a whole is trying to, help
and
facilitate.
it makes sense too,
Oh, and you do have, there's so many, former business buildings all throughout, in particular up 28 and stuff that, there needs to be some sort of reuse. You can't just let things go.
And I think specifically with this specific application too, it's not like they're trying to do some kind of shoddy, just like throw up some jank housing. They really, it seems like they've kind of thought this through, have like a grand plan, that they're not trying to just, put some fly-by-night makeshift stuff up there. They have a vision of what needs to be done, what the area needs, a building, they're using the footprint, so as I said initially, I really like this at face value, but there's a lot of hoops to jump through and skeletons that could come out of the closet, but that's why we're taking our time with this one, covering all the bases.
Do all the criteria appropriately.
Yeah.
and Make sure that, criteria is being followed.
Well, once again, we have this, there was really not anything except for the neighbor having some issues, but a lot of those issues to me were kind of more things for the planning board and stuff that was just complaints about the prior stuff happening that I don't think would even fly after a planning board review should it be approved or anything like that. So other than that, we generally have had positive feedback besides the planning board kind of long letter that was going in different directions. So once again, we're kind of in the position, we're not gonna make a decision this evening, but we have more ammunition and stuff to chew on now at this point. And hopefully by our next meeting, Lauren will come back with some really rock solid numbers for reviewing the financial hardship with us.
And I would just recommend that you, send her another email, and just ask her to put in writing that she is requesting that the matter be adjourned out to the next meeting.
Yeah, I was almost going to do that tonight, but I ran out of time. But from my prior communication with her, I don't think she has any problem. That was basically the direction it was going, and she has made it very clear she's wants to work with us wholeheartedly, you know, whatever we request and the direction we think she needs to go, she's with us. She's on board. I don't think that's gonna be a problem, but I will reach back out to her.
You're corresponding to her that means financial, we don't need to reach out.
I can reach her. She's just been writing to me, so I'll keep it, you know.
Okay.
Is there anything further that the board would like to discuss?
This is
I
not,
don't know how many of us are in like in the spanking zone for this.
oh, yeah. What?
The-
There's three of you doing with this.
This sounds
Yes,
kinky.
the financial
This is
disclosure.
getting very kinky here.
Just on the record,
Me, Alex, and Lauren, we're the only ones.
Your financial affidavits,
Your
financial
Financial
disclosure
disclosure.
forms.
for the ethics
You have
committee.
to sign, so that we know when somebody's here, it's not like, you know, business that you own.
You're in their
And
pocket.
they're, you know, granting, variances.
I did that, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's something that's required.
They are.
The same character. Usually.
You basically just have to list, you know, assets.
How often is
Yeah,
it
same,
required?
same, same.
It's required every year, that they haven't, well, I'll discuss it later.
It's
If
pretty
you on the record, I
unobtrusive.
don't want to be in.
Not really, yes, you just have to.
Tricky part is getting it notarized.
I know, go to the bank, just come here.
Oh, right.
Or just go to the bank.
Which is what I did.
Bank.
I read
I was chair and do one every year. It was like one question, is like, what do you disclose? And I was like,
The only thing that triggered me is
Yeah.
seventh year,
it was the silliest.
first time.
And I was like, I would
We'll
even
talk
say,
about it.
well, I work for the water company, sure. And they're like, that doesn't matter. Like, I think that's important.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, so
It's scary.
the offenders know who they are.
If you need another form, let me know. If you have any questions, you can talk to me or to Joan, who's the head of that.
I mean, I definitely don't have.
We closed all of our public hearings. Currently, there's no new applications. I couldn't imagine there's not gonna be more applications coming in the next month, being that it's spring going into summer, but we'll see. how it goes.
I was just gonna really quickly show, it's not a big deal, but I'm just, previously when we get a check for like a public hearing or an area variance, like the check would just go to the bookkeeper with like a handwritten whatever, there was no procedure, so I created a check transmittal form, so this is what goes to the bookkeeper, so now there's a record in everybody's file.
Long overdue.
So, you know, because a lot of times they have to be held, because they'll give me a check, but there's no public hearing yet, so there's a record and the bookkeeper knows what she's supposed to do, and you can refer back to it, so.
The inactive CPA.
I mean, if it's on the drive, if anyone has suggestions, that's fine, but if you want to see the selfish me. I'll get it. So, that's what I do when I'm not here, thinking about you.
Sausage disclosure form.
Was it banking the sausage?
I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
All right, so I think maybe you guys have a motion or.
Who wants to make a motion?
No, I'm just trying to get us off the record. Any
All right,
motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Second by Paul, there he is again. He's
on a roll.
all those in favor of adjourning the meeting, verbal show of hands. All board members present. None opposed.
All right.
Look at that, quick.